Yo, man, it's almost 4:30. I gotta get the fuck out of here.
This is the Social Norm.
1, 2. You want top dollar and pop bottles and drop knowledge?
Yep. Yo. You already know what it is, man. We back it again with another one. I'm your boy Canteen. This is my man Beans.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Hey, it's a Social Norm. We go ahead and talk to y'all, man. Episode 173 is called Are Men Still Men Today? And the reason we came up with this concept was because we've been seeing a lot of crazy stuff happen in social media recently, and we're going to talk about it today. We got 3 topics we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about number 1, when the woman that got hit by that brick. Whew. That's going to be the first topic we're going to talk about. The second thing we're going to talk about is if men didn't exist and women, could women exist? And that whole argument, if women didn't exist, could men exist? We're going to talk about that. And then third, finally, we're going to talk about how the single woman who thinks being alone is better than struggling with someone. All right. Hey, appreciate everybody who rocking with us, man. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button. And if you want to donate to the channel, you know what it is, man. The Cash App right there, the Social Norm Podcast. Appreciate you. All right. So we're going to go ahead and watch the first video, and then we're going to go ahead and discuss the first topic. All right. Appreciate everybody. Let's get into it, man. Do. I mean, this is crazy. My sister brought this up, and you hit me up about it, and I was just like, "Is this real?" But apparently, it is. So let's get into it.
A brick and all these black men just watch and they don't give a. Yeah, this man hit me, grabbed a rock and he hit me in my face because I would have given him my number. And all y'all just watch. Y'all see that?
God damn, that motherfucker is swole.
He broke something. Something is broken in there.
I'm gonna leave my comments to the end.
Y'all see it? What y'all do? I want y'all to be a man. I want y'all to be a man. Do something. Y'all gonna let a man hit me in my face? What have I ever done to anybody in my life to deserve this? I never did anything in my life.
I know I said I was gonna keep my comments to myself, but damn it, if you I don't want to hear that you ain't never did nothing. That don't seem like you ain't did nothing
to hurt anybody. Literally, a man asked me for my number. I said no, and he picked up a brick in front of so many men. It was like, what are you gonna do? And I told all these men, like, yo, why this man got a brick on my face? And he's holding a brick. And
do you think that was wise of you? I do. Let me ask you this, Beans. Do you talking to somebody, they ask you for something, whether a number, money, whatever, and you say no, and the dude pick up a brick and he start waving the brick in front of you, what do you think your actions would be?
Either I'm gonna while he's picking up, either I'm gonna try to kick him in the face while he's or I'm running.
Anybody with some sense will be like, I'm gonna leave this situation. Yeah. This man got a weapon, he got a brick, and not for nothing. The last thing you're gonna do is throw the brick at my face, and I'm not gonna move
or duck.
I ain't the most agile person, but I can see a brick coming from a mile away. And my thing was, her excuse was, I'm gonna look to these other men to say, why does he got a brick in his hand and he's waving it at me?
And all these watching, and nobody does nothing. And he hits me in my face, and then they all just watch, and they let that get in a car. How is this okay? This is what y'all doing to women? They like don't understand. Like, I'm just trying to take my friend out from 5 years ago. Like, literally spending my whole money, not bothering nobody. Like, what the fuck kind of is this? I'm in the parking lot just trying to buy some food. And like, I'm literally like, why is this busting up on me like this? And I'm looking at all these They literally let this do all of this. They let like really like do all of that. I never thought it was gonna happen, yo. Like it's so wild. And he's gonna get
And that was your first mistake. You thought it wasn't gonna happen. So you thought you was dealing with somebody who could control his anger. And that's where a lot of women get messed up at.
And I was gonna say is that you don't know what type of man that was. They in any if you've ever been in a project or any type of neighborhood where it looks sketchy like that, there's always that one person that's crazy that's walking around. You know what I mean? It's always that one person. That could have been that person. And that's probably why they didn't move on him because of
Yo, that's crazy, Mike.
Yeah, no, I'm not dealing with that. Yeah,
get away with it. He got in the car. He got away. He's never gonna get caught. He's gonna move on. He's probably at an after party right now having a good time. Do you feel good about yourself doing this to a woman?
Another thing, if he did that so easy, that's not the first time he's done it. That's not the first time he's. It might be the first time he hit somebody in the face with a brick, but it's not the first time he probably put his hands on a woman.
It's been 12 hours. I'm in the hospital. I'm getting discharged. I do have a concussion, so I gotta take it slow for a week.
Not for nothing. This whole I need to make a video with tears running down my eyes. Like you could have wiped all that. I'm just saying.
Unfortunately, I don't have the kind of job that's gonna give me that kind of grace. So I still got a mother. I still gotta teach. I still gotta work. I really just want the best for everybody, and I don't know why people want to kill me. I can't even chew food the next week.
Now, this is the sad part about this whole situation. She's going to end up going and getting some type of Cash App or some GoFundMe page, and they're going to rack it up for her. You know what I mean? What up, y'all? Shout out to, what was that? Probably Beans. I don't know. But, oh, my bad. Skins. But look, let's go ahead and break this whole video down. The first thing was she said that the dude was talking to her. He pulled a brick out. She didn't think this would happen. What did y'all expect, ladies? You say y'all want independence. You say you want to be equals. This is, unfortunately, I hate to say this, but this is what being equals looks like. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it where when a guy tries to open a door for you or tries to do something of a gentleman-like standard, and you say, "I don't need your help. I can do it myself." Okay, but then when it gets too extreme for you, and you're out there on your own, and you need a man's help, then you're screaming for to the highest, saying, "Why y'all ain't help me? Why y'all ain't being a man?" You can't have it both ways, ladies. You gotta decide what you want, because the reality is this: men have always been men. But we get tired of trying to be gentlemen to women, and you guys try to check us and say, "Well, I'm a woman. I don't need your help. I can do it myself. I'm independent." Well, be independent then. So when you are a single woman on your own out in the streets, understand what come with that. It ain't no different than a single man. Guess what? If a dude would have came in, if we all them dudes that was standing out there, if another dude would have came in to you Beans walking down the street, and a dude would have took a brick and hit you across the head, guess what would have happened? Them dudes would have been looking at you like, damn, you got hit across the head, bro. That's how it works. Equality don't look pretty.
It really don't.
So when you want the door open for you, or you want us to stand up and give you our seat, and you want us to protect you, you got to let that happen 100%. The same way you can't pick and choose what you get to allow to happen. If you want to take the back seat and let a man lead 100% of the time. Don't sit there and try to choose what he can lead on for your protection, but he can't lead on for when he needs you to do something and ask you to, to move a certain way.
And it begs a different question, because I heard somebody say this too.
What up, Shay?
Do you deserve all men's protection? Like men that don't even know you.
Okay. I believe women deserve men's protection, but I also believe women have a certain role they have to play. See, a lot of these women are out here not being women. They're not being modest. They're not holding their tongue on certain situations. And then what happens is they bark and bark and bark like a little chihuahua, right? But then when it comes time to bite, they run and look for other men to help them out. So I'm saying, if you don't know your role, if you can't defend yourself, if you don't have protection for your own self to where you can defend yourself, don't bark. Step back and retreat. Step back and ask for help. Excuse me, I don't want no problem, sir. Can somebody please help me? Get very submissive. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not even trying to make you feel less than, but the same way in the wild, when a bigger animal comes around, other animals submit to it because they understand I can get fucked up from it. You know what I'm saying? The female lion submits to the male lion because she knows if they really go head to head, the male lion will kill her. So I'm not saying, now let me go ahead, now that I've checked her and told her, because I don't believe, and y'all tell me what y'all think, ladies and fellows who's watching the show. Do you believe the way she's telling the story went exactly like that? Because in the day and age, all we have is her voice.
That's it.
And I feel like I question a lot of things that in this day and age women say. I question what everybody says nowadays, men and women, because I think a lot of people try to be victims. And it's like, so a man, we have a male out there that's a woman. He asked for a number. She just said, no, I don't. I'm sorry, I don't want to give you my number. And his reaction was pick up a brick and to steal on her. I just can't see that story truly happening that way. I'm not saying it didn't happen that way, but that seems very odd to me.
That extreme.
He went to that extreme. Now, was she talking shit? Oh, look at you. Why would I ever talk to you like that? And made him feel bad and he reacted that way? What was the real reasoning? That's what I want to know. Let me see what Shay got to say. This is not a man or a woman thing. That shouldn't have happened to the point to where we live is at stake. Life is at stake. That's pathetic. Well, let me say this, Shay. It is pathetic that a man is that insecure that a woman rejects him or whatever. These are words. Words should not be held with life-threatening actions, but they do. We live in a Western society where people are more sensitive. And the reality is this: when you bark, sometimes you can get bit.
That's true.
Okay.
And my ex used to do the same thing. She would talk a lot of trash, and then I would have to go in and step in and try to quell the disturbance. And one thing I just had to tell her, like, look, stop talking shit to these dudes, because you're not the one that's going to have to fight them.
And that's the thing. I think a lot of women, and me and my sister had an argument about this, because she's looking at the outcome. She's not looking at what led up to that outcome, what the result. She's just looking at the results. These men didn't protect her. That these men, they don't have. So my question is this, ladies: do you feel men have an unspoken loyalty to all women to protect them? If that's the case, what is the unspoken loyalty that women supposed to have towards men? Because my question is, if you ask men to have their unwillingness to involve themselves in your quarrels, right, and protect you and risk possibly getting harmed too, then should there not be an unspoken agreement that you give all men respect? See, a lot of women say, why should I listen to a man because he's a man? And I say that's the reason. Because the same reason is when you get into trouble, you're going to look for a man to help you, regardless of if you know him or don't know him, right? Yeah. So if we have to deal with that burden of just being the protectors of all you, then you need to have the burden to know your place and not argue or disrespect a man, regardless of what he's doing. Let a man come in and step in, but you don't escalate it.
Definitely not. How many times have we seen that in life?
Yeah.
And like you said, you can't step in like you used to. It's not the same outcome. There are times I went to go help a woman out because the dude was getting in on her, and she told me to mind my business.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
I've seen where girls were getting their ass whooped by their boyfriend. A guy jumps in, starts whooping on the dude, and she starts attacking the guy.
Yeah.
Don't hit my man. So what I'm saying is, I've always been the type where when you're in a relationship, that shit don't concern nobody but you and her. Don't concern me. Unless you my sister. Unless you're my blood. If you're my blood, I'm not about to let you just whoop on her in front of me.
And I think I said this earlier. I think that's what men are doing nowadays. They protect the women in their proximity, as far as like their mother, their sister,
Their wife.
their girlfriend. Anything outside that circle,
We're not jumping in.
we're not jumping in.
Because y'all have gone so far out of the spectrum of a woman to what your women are supposed to be doing that we just can't trust involving ourselves, that we're going to be protected in that way either. Let's look into what she says. She says, in my family, the women give the men respect. Everyone's family is not like that. I don't argue with a man. I have two men in my life to do that. Okay. I think she meant the word two, like TWO. That's what I'm guessing. Yes, you shouldn't argue with men. And the fact that women do argue with men and then they wonder why situations come about. There's a lot of men who are raised by women today that are not taught control. And I mean control as being a man. When with great like Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. Men are the more dominant of the sexes. They're the stronger, and then from being the stronger and the more dangerous ones, we have to control our abilities.
And it's different now. It's a new day. I always tell some women, like, I've seen there's a video where a woman is talking trash to this guy on she's making fun of him about his outfit on the subway, right? And then he says something back to her, and everybody laughs. She slaps him,
and that's where
he turned around and slaps the hell out of her, like damn near knocks her out. And it's just like,
did everybody jump into her protection?
No, because they
seen her strike him, right?
Yeah, they see her, and even like the bus driver, where the lady smacks the bus driver and he
uppercuts her to the next level.
Yes, this is what's happening nowadays. Like, they just gotta understand, this isn't
you get to say what you want, do what you want, and then when things get out of hand, look for men to protect you.
It's a different time.
That's done. The reason women got protected back in those days, in the old days, was because women did not argue or talk back to men. So if a man was out there just whooping on a woman, society believed this man was just abusive and he was just attacking her. They wouldn't have thought she was arguing with this man or disrespecting this man. He just, did these things. That's why men reacted back then. Now we see so many women talking reckless that we ain't about to jump into that. No, you got to be a lady too if you want men to be men. All right. Speaking of that, and this is what I get back to. When I say women need to be in a certain position, it's because ultimately, words are words, right? But when the only thing you can escalate from words is physical harm, right? And that's an element she can't compete in for the most part.
No.
So when a woman, if you're arguing with a man, you have to ask yourself, what's the next level that is going to go to, and can you handle that level? If you can't handle fighting a grown man and you're going to need another man to involve himself, stop it. Let it go. Retreat. Because you're saving yourself and you're saving the man that has to step in to resolve things for you a whole lot of conflict. Now, because I said that was because me and my sister, we got into a disagreement. My sister told me that she believed that women could live without men. They could live fine without men. And I said, you're insane. Let's watch a video where they believe this theory. Oh man, it is, and I hope everybody got some AC in their house because
it is 1,000 degrees in here.
Yeah. Well, let's get into this video, y'all.
Honest, if all men disappeared tomorrow, shit would hit the fan.
Do you think if all women disappeared, shit wouldn't hit the fan?
In 1975, the women of Iceland, like most of them, 90%, decided to go on strike. They didn't go to their jobs. They didn't take care of their children. They didn't do domestic chores. And the country, like, came to a standstill. One of Iceland's biggest exports at that time, fish, and the fish factories just, like, completely closed. Like, they had to stop trade that day. Grocery stores ran out of pre-made meals that the men were buying for the children. Like, there was no, like, to-go food left in the grocery stores. The men were even, like, paying, like, older children, like 10 years old, to babysit the 5-year-olds because they couldn't handle it. The women of Iceland did this to protest unfair wages in the country, and the next year they passed the Fair Wage Act. Anyways, that was cool that you valued half the population as more valuable as the other half of the population. Just hope if that happens, just don't live in Iceland. A couple side questions. One, how is your relationship with your mom? And two, have you ever in your entire life gone down on a woman?
Okay, I don't really know about that last part. That was just her in her mind, just trying to be funny, I guess. But
okay,
the whole concept of that video was these women in Iceland was protesting for equal wages, and they stopped doing anything, right? And they said that the economy pretty much was at a standstill. Well, first off, it said that the women stopped taking care of their children. The fact is, if any man were to, do this, they're gonna get chewed out and be like, "You're a deadbeat. I can't believe you're doing this." Why do children have to suffer for you to make a point? That's one thing I feel like it was ridiculous. But at the end of the day, I think what it showed was, yes, women are important. We understand that. But the fact that we live in a day and age that there's people out here, men and women, who believe that the opposite sex, they're better off without them, is like confused to me. How can, if men didn't have women, right? Men would live, right? We would still have the structure we have, but eventually what would happen is we would get agitated because we don't have that release with that brings with a woman, right? Men would get agitated and men would get more vicious. Men would start wars. Men would literally gang rape each other like they did in the old Roman days.
I'm about to say, just look at prison.
That's what it would come to. It would come, the real world would become prison. Yeah. It would become all men being more masculine than ever, to where they would literally take over each other and beat and force each other to be a certain way. Now, the flip side, if all men were gone, my sister believed that all women could live without men. Do you understand, if all men were gone, how many arguments would never be resolved in the whole workplace? First off, women aren't going to go join. You're not going to be running mines. They're not going to be running electric companies. They're not going to do these things. They're going to be like, what the fuck? I don't want to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want you think the roads are bad now? The roads would never be repaved. Women would be like, fuck that. And eventually they would be going insane. And that's what I'm trying to get people to understand on both sides. If men or women left this world, we both would have a worser time in life.
Exactly.
Why can't you accept that?
We need each other. Point blank, period.
But the world we're living in now, a lot of women, and I'm not saying there aren't some men who think that the world will be better without women. Those are a small portion of men who are confused. But there's a large portion of women who really believe that the world will be better if men weren't here. And the fact is, your life would be pointless if men weren't here. My life would be pointless if women weren't here. Why do we
need life would cease?
And then they go into these arguments of who would live longer. Who gives a damn? Why do you care if your life lives longer without a man or without a woman if it's worse off than what it is now?
Exactly. And my thing about videos like that, I forget what year she said all that was happening.
It was like 1970 or something.
That is irrelevant towards today. The times back then were different. The world was different. Society was different back then.
And I want y'all to understand
it's not gonna work today.
And I got into a disagreement more with my sister because me and my sister, we really don't see eye to eye on certain things. She believes that I'm a misogynistic pig, and I believe that she's a feminist who hates men. Like she really genuinely does not like men.
Y'all really don't see eye to eye with
We don't see eye to eye on a lot of things. And one of the things was she believed that women could live. She said, well, what if we just stop having children? What if women refuse to stop having children? And I was like, well,
then
society. Let me say this. If women truly, if there was a true thing where all women refuse to have children, I'm saying this, and I don't want to sound rude or vicious, but men, they couldn't. I hate to say this, but if for society to go on, if all women chose not to have children, they couldn't, because men would force them. And I hate to say that.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And she was like, how could they force them? They can't force us. I said, no, men could. The reason women are protected by men is because men allow the laws. We place laws to protect women from men.
Yeah, because like medieval times, the rape was just
commonplace.
Men just did it.
They did it. There was no repercussions. And I'm saying is, if that was the case, men would rape women. And I hate to say it like that, but that's what would have to happen if women just came into this crazy idea that they weren't going to have children anymore, and that the end of the world would come based off of them. Like at that point, your enemy, your public enemy number one, because you're trying to stop humanity.
Yeah, for the survival of the species, unfortunately.
Yeah. Many men that want to live in a world without women is sus.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this. Okay. I don't know if they're so much sus, but they definitely have mommy issues. They have a problem with their mother. They did not have a good growing up with women, and for whatever reason, they have hate in their heart for women. And it's no different than a woman who has hate in their heart for a man. Their father and their relationship was probably struggled. They probably had a struggled relationship with their father, and because of that, they have struggled relationships with other men, and from that, they've just hated men. But the reality is, you don't hate men. What you hate is the men that you've dealt with that have caused you pain and problems.
Now, one thing I learned about prisoners is a lot of the rapists, pedophiles, child molesters, and things like that.
Yeah,
a lot of them have big issues with women. Like they don't respect them, they don't like them, they don't even like when female officers talk to them. There's that common theme that they all have, and I think that, and I honestly think society would turn if women were gone or women would refuse. Like you said, men would probably turn into one of those three things. Look at Catholic priests; they swore off women.
Yeah.
And look
how savage they went towards young children because they understood the built up emotions that come with a man that doesn't get to release. Exactly. He will turn to wrongdoing.
Yes, to fulfill his base needs.
Yes, and that's the thing that I think a lot of women don't see. Most American women aren't real women. Oh, damn. Well,
who said that?
The one. I don't know.
Okay.
Shout out to you, man. Well, I'm gonna say this. I agree. There are a lot of women out here. Now, let's go back to the whole girl with the brick thing. And I said this. A lot of women like, oh, these aren't men. These aren't men. Well, I say they're not women either. Because let me tell you why. For a man to want to take a brick and hit a woman across the head with, do you think that woman is actually being a woman of respect? Think about this. Your grandmother back in the day, great grandmother, right? It could be the most hardest killers,
Mhm.
gangsters in the city. And if she showed up, they gave her full respect because of how she carried herself
Mhm.
and how she approached situations. I know y'all ain't doing that wrong. No, Miss Johnson,
Sorry about that.
sorry about that. We'll keep it respectful. They gave her the respect she deserved because of how she carried herself.
Mhm.
The women today are not carrying themselves a certain way, and unfortunately, that's causing young men to not males. I ain't gonna say men because I don't think a man would do that. Young males to disrespect them.
Mhm.
Carry yourselves appropriately like a lady, and I guarantee you, ladies, you'll get the certain respect that you're asking for. But if you're loud, ignorant, and you cuss out men and you poke men in the face and you try to be all big and hard and bark, you're not going to get the same respect.
Mhm.
And I guarantee you, if grandma was out there and the dude said something to her and tried to put a brick on her, I guarantee you everybody and their mama would come at her and beat the hell out of them
That's true.
because they was not allowing her to get disrespected.
And another thing is, grandma wouldn't be out there at that time of night.
He said,
And
my
then-
grandma submitted to my grandfather for 60 years. Today's women brag about not needing a man and hate to submit. That's it.
That's the narrative.
You got to be willing to submit the respect level to men, and then you'll get the protection. You'll get the respect back. But a lot of women don't want to do that, and then they cry wolf when they get hit with a brick.
Like I said, I wish they talked to the dude who actually did it. Well, he's smart enough to flee the scene, but I would like the whole story.
That's what
like,
I'm saying.
What led to this?
I mean,
If it's what she says it is, then he dead wrong. I mean, he shouldn't have hit the head with a brick.
you
Regardless.
tell me, you say you have a concussion, but you could have ID'd the man. You don't know. Nobody in that area knew who that man was. Everybody's
They knew
just
who he
siding with
was.
him.
They knew who he was.
That crazy Mike is still at large, y'all. And he's
They knew exactly who he was. Like he ain't come back for me. No,
did
I'm
the
good.
brick got DNA? Something. I don't know, y'all. This is the world. You can't make this stuff up. You really can't. Now, the last thing we want to talk about before we get up out of here is the single woman who thinks being alone is better than struggling with someone. Now, my sister, these are the videos that my sister sent me.
Mhm.
And so you see the tone of how she's feeling.
Yes, I see that.
For whatever reason, she sent me this video of this dude that is your arch enemy. What's his name? Derek Jackson.
Derek Jackson. I got a few arch enemies.
Now, I have a problem with listening to someone who I feel is the opposite. My sister sent me a video that was called an ultra. Y'all look it up. It's called ultra
Crepidarian.
ultra crepidarian, and it's pretty much a person who speaks about something but doesn't have the knowledge or the education about what the subject they're talking about, but they pretend like they're experts. AKA, she was trying to say I was that.
Okay.
I'm a guy who speaks on things that I don't have
Know
expertise
nothing
on,
about.
and I don't have knowledge. Now, a lot of the reason is my sister feels like because I don't have a child and because I am not in court systems and things like that when it comes to dealing with a baby father and things like that.
Because
Reality is, go ahead.
Because you haven't experienced them.
I haven't experienced parenting. That mean I can't give advice on parenting.
Okay. To a degree, to play devil's advocate,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't either. I don't have kids. I wouldn't tell anybody. I mean, there are some things like your kid is bad, you need to punish your child. That basic stuff like that.
But see,
that's a given.
That's what I'm saying.
A given.
I don't think you have to have a child to understand from you being a child at one point what effects happen to you of good parenting versus bad parenting.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Okay. I've had friends who've grown up who I felt like the parents were easy on them. And guess what? They've had to deal with certain struggles in life. I've had parents who were more strict and they've had to deal with those. I've had parents who didn't love their kids as much, and I've seen those effects. So from me being an adult and growing up being from 2-parent household, I think I have some knowledge on what I know feels right and what I see. And I'm just, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I digress. Let's watch this video of this hypocrite that I really feel is an ultra sabbatarian, or whatever his damn name is. Whatever. His ass need to go head on with this, but let's watch him. And for whatever reason, y'all ladies are still watching this Derek Jackson dude who cheated on his wife. He's telling the opposite of what he is, but let's watch it.
If a woman is single for a long time, like 2 years, 3 years or more, it ain't because something's wrong with her, most likely. More than likely, it's because she's intelligent.
Did you just hear what he just said? If a woman is single for 3 years or more, it's not nothing wrong with her. It's just she's intelligent. Well, yeah, I think any single woman would love to hear something like that. I'm gonna rewind it one more time.
If a woman is single for a long time, like 2 years, 3 years or more, it ain't because something's wrong with her, most likely. More than likely, it's because she's intelligent. And
pause on that. Do you think what he just said was truthful?
I don't believe anything that fool says.
He's already got most single women now because he's giving you a compliment that you're intelligent instead of something internally that you're doing that's causing men not to want to claim you.
And that's not to say women who are in relationships or marriages or that get in these relationships quickly are just dumb. What I'm saying is intelligent women, they have the smallest dating pool because they have the least amount of tolerance for BS.
Now, he just wanted, since he gave the single women a compliment, he had to still rein in the other women who aren't single to say, you're still good too, though. Okay?
Like an intelligent woman cannot stomach a man who can't teach her anything. And because she's intelligent, there are very few men who can. An intelligent woman can't tolerate a man that can't mentally stimulate her or that she has to explain every little thing to. An intelligent woman, she's the most likely to be insulted by a man who thinks that he can play in her face like she's dumb. So they ain't gonna last. And then
pause it. Play in her face like she's dumb. You mean like your wife? Like you did your wife?
Yeah. Like you did when you said that you was just going out to go get some milk and you was really going with a whole nother female.
Exactly.
But then when she finally caught wind of it and brought it to your attention, you were exposed, and now you had to go ahead and say, all right, jig's up, you caught me. Still lie about it though until the other lady came involved.
The fact that, yes, she's intelligent, so therefore she gathers information and she acts on it more effectively than most, which means she's not going to continue repeating the same bad relationship over and over again with a different man for years on end.
Now, the problem is this. This is the problem that I have a problem with. A lot of he just said single women who've been single for a minute are intelligent. Well, let me ask you this. He just said a second ago that she's going to stop dealing with the men that keeps giving her problems. If a woman was so intelligent from just his standard, why would she even deal with anybody who had problems? She would have seen that immediately and moved on. But a lot of women don't see those things because they deal with dudes who are, bums, really. Let's just keep it 100.
Pookies and Ray-Rays.
Yes.
She'd just rather be single. And then intelligent women perform better in the job market and have more successful businesses, so they're the least likely to depend on the man to be their meal ticket.
Okay. He's saying single women perform better in the job market. Well, unfortunately, when you're independent and you have nobody else to lean on, you better perform or you're going to be on the street selling that cat. So, yeah, I can see how single women are more performing and they have no other options. Their options are perform or be out on the street.
But what I really love about these
kind of like a man
women is that they're also not easily rattled by that whole, you're going to die alone. You're going to be single until you die, because they're smart enough to understand it's better to be happy until you die alone than to live miserably every single day feeling like you're dying inside.
Now, this is the problem I have with this video. Why are those the two options? Why is it you can be happy alone or you could be miserable and dying inside with someone? Why can't you say, you know what? Right now we have, just like anything, a relationship is like a roller coaster. We have tough times, we have really good times. We have tough times, we get through it, we have really good times. There's no reason why you should be in a relationship where you're miserable all the time. Okay, and if he's portraying that these are the only two options, then of course you're going to be wanting to decide with being alone and be happy. But the problem is, this is the confusion a lot of women have. They think that they're going to be happy because they're single right now because no one's telling them what to do. But you're not looking at the future. When you get old and you don't have anybody there for you to look after you, right? You're going to be trying to look at whoever your children you've had kids with, right? To try to come look after you. And they're going to have their own families.
Mm-hmm.
The reason you were meant to be out there with someone is so when you get older, they can look after you and you can look after them. But now we've let women have got confused and let the government be their significant other.
That's that whole I can do bad all by myself.
Yeah, you can.
Narrative. You can, but why
would you want to?
Exactly.
Now, let me see what the comments talking about right here. Until you become a parent, there is so much advice you can give. Look, I can promise you that right now, where I see, I'm an independent thinker right now because I ain't had no children. I ain't got to be the one to get up at 4 a.m. because they got a runny nose or whatever case may be. I understand the pressures of having. I understand that there are pressures. I might not have to feel them right now, but I understand there are pressures there. So I can see where you see you don't want to listen to somebody who isn't dealing with those pressures. Okay. But at the end of the day, what I've said, explain to me what I said that is wrong. But you see, you're not getting what I'm putting down because you weren't listening to the conversation of me and my sister. So that's where me and my sister disagree on a lot of things because she's a woman and she's dealing with these pressures on her own versus me being a man. So when sometimes I feel like sometimes when people are mad at a certain person, they group it all with the species, the sex, you could be mad at your man and then still get mad at your brothers, your sister, your dad, your uncles, everybody because you're mad at your man. Let's see what he said. Intelligent women is a borderline oxymoron term. All right, that's just a diss at that point. I look, I'm not gonna go into that one because there are intelligent women out there. Let's not get into that there's no smart women. Selling cat, I really hate you. Yeah, that's your options. Let me just say this, ladies. If you are a single woman and you ain't out here getting money in some way or form of just your brain, the next step is you having to sell your cat. Because if you ain't got a man to lean on to take care of you, whether it be your daddy, your uncles, your boyfriend, a sugar baby, a sugar daddy, whatever, guess what? If you can't get a job and work a 9 to 5, or you can't create something to make some money for yourself, the next logical step is you out here selling ass. And women do it all day. So don't think it don't happen. It do. It been happening since the beginning of time. But back to the single mom thinking, or the single woman thinking that she's better off. If she was meant to be alone, God and the universe would have made it that way.
Exactly.
Okay.
We're all made for each other.
I don't know how many times I've had women tell me, there's just times where they're like, yo, I'm tired of being single. I'm tired of having to go do everything on my own. It wasn't meant for you to do everything on your own. No. But we let social media and the government brainwash us to think those things. It was meant for a man to take care of a woman and a woman to take care of a man in the ways he needs to be taken care of.
Exactly.
But if you're not willing to do those things, then you have to be out there on your own. And I know there's a lot of men out here that are trash.
Yeah.
But my question, ladies, why do you keep picking the trash men? I've said this from way episodes in the past. I truly believe men should be the women in their lives should pick the women for them. And I believe the men should pick the men for the women. Because you're blinded. See, men, we get blinded by ass and titties.
That's true.
Or if she got some good head game, we get blinded by that shit because she could be dumb as a box of rocks. Go ahead.
But you know what? You made me onto something here because I know still in certain African cultures, they still do that.
Yeah. Arranged marriages
work.
they work more times than they don't work. If you look at statistics, arranged marriages work more times than don't. See, a lot of us don't want to give that freedom up because we think we know better than the next person for what's for us, but we don't really know what's best for us.
So here's the thing. So if your mother, would you allow your mother to pick somebody for you?
Yeah, I would.
To marry?
I would let my mother pick somebody, but I also would ask her why she's picking this woman.
Okay, you should try that.
Not know because she looks pretty.
Oh, no.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Looks fake.
Now, my thing is, I'm not making you honest. I personally think my mother, I don't know if she picks the best people.
Okay.
As friends.
As friends?
As friends for herself.
Okay. So would you pick her? Do you trust her judgment for women then? If she can't pick, if you don't think she can pick the best friends.
I think my mother, I think it would be better if my father picked than my mother, because my father is harsher on people. My mother's a good person and she picks a lot of good, like she sees the good in people. But also I feel like every girl I've ever dated, my mother's like, oh, you should have kept her. She's a good woman. She's a good woman. And it's like, she probably was a good woman,
but it just didn't work out.
I probably wasn't a good man
at
the time.
Okay.
I'm never going to sit there and blame all the women in my life of why we didn't work out.
Oh, of course.
A lot of the times it was because of me being me. That's what it was. I'm not going to sit there and even front. I can take ownership of mine.
No, I get it.
You know,
nobody's perfect, not even me.
But I can say this: out of all the girls I've ever dated, there's only one woman who I see from Facebook and stuff that actually got married.
Oh, okay.
So all the women that I've ever messed with, they never got married after me. So
did your mother like this person?
Surprisingly, I don't know. My mother acted like she liked all the people I dated. She just this is the reason why I think I could trust my mother when picking women. My mother's so ready for me to have grandkids. She just wants a woman. I don't think she cares who it is at this point.
You're the greatest.
She just knows you're giving my son a chance. Go ahead and marry her, have kids so I could be a grandmother. That's what it is. But and I'm looking at her like, you don't even care about me. You just care about your own wants.
I'm like, my mother used to hit me like that too.
My father is like, stay single as long as you can. Because once you marry, it's over. Like, he's just like, it's over. Anything else you want to talk about before we get the hell up out of here?
No, it's hot as hell in here. We good.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody in the comments. You know what I mean? Y'all fight it out in the comment section. Once again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate everybody rocking with us. My birthday's coming up this Thursday, so shout out to me. You know what I mean? Your boy about to be 34. And I'm going down to New Jersey. We're going to go down there and enjoy the Jets game. So go Jets. Anything else? Y'all put in the comment section. Let us know what y'all want to talk about next time. And that is what it is. I'm your boy Canteen. This my man Beans.
Y'all have a good week.
It's Social Norm.
That's got to be racist.
Daddy?